Okay, time for the biggest division in the National Football League, where it's hard nosed, smash mouth football, punch you in the mouth, play some defense, and Pittsburgh Steelers. The team that didn't want to be America's team, they wanted to be Pittsburgh's team. 6-time Super Bowl champs. We're bringing 7 home. But in all serious, probably not. I think Aaron Rodgers is probably the best quarterback since 2018, before Ben tore up his elbow. Downfield passing attack inconsistent. Haven't had the arm strength. Haven't had the accuracy at quarterback position really since. Um, and yes, I know most of last year Aaron Rodgers wasn't great. He just wasn't. Um, I it was first year back from Achilles at 40 years old. I think that he played like one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL the last month or so of the season. It's the arm strength's still there, the accuracy's still there. Can't move as well, obviously. Um, but if the Steelers' offensive line is good enough to keep him healthy for the entire season, the Pittsburgh Steelers are a real Super Bowl contender. And again, this is my unbiased opinion as a Steelers fan. And I really, really think that they have the roster. They have the talent. Like, I mean, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Nick Herbig was huge last year. I think they had the best cornerback room in the National Football League. I Jalen Ramsey, huge help in the secondary. And as much as I loved Minka Fitzpatrick the last few years, especially his first few, his ability in coverage has not been there. And Jalen Ramsey, like, yes, he's not peak Jalen Ramsey, but he's still I think, one of the best corners in the NFL. He also, to have him and bring in Darius Slay is huge. Darius Slay, by the way, has still played at an elite level. I That could be one of the most under um, underrated moves of the offseason, because you get two guys, veterans, all pros, still playing at high level, and you get them working with a guy, Joey Porter Jr., who, again, unbiased for him too, as a Penn State fan and a Steelers fan, so that's double unbiased. He has all the talent. He can play, especially man guard, physical, size, speed. Gets a little handsy at times. Um, but I think having those guys around him will turn him into one of the best corners in the NFL, just because he has everything else. Um, I don't be surprised if Joey Porter Jr. gets some Defensive Player of the Year votes. Again, thank me when I'm right. TJ Watt is, I'll say this, since a lot of disrespect gets thrown around by saying that Miles Garrett and Michael Parsons are better pass rushers. Analytically, maybe, but statistically and pure production, there is no defensive player I'd rather have than TJ Watt. He wins matchups. so he's um you don't usually see someone who is that good of a pass rusher be able to actually make some plays in coverage. Uh, I mean, he bats down passes. He learned that from his older swap brother. He forces fumbles much more frequently. I've never seen a pass rusher as good at getting the strip sack as TJ Watt, and that's a huge skill that those other guys don't have. And Cam Hayward, 15th million years in the NFL, and he's still playing at a high level, having one of his best seasons last year. I think that will continue again because the guy still wants the championship. He's given everything he's had. He's even like, hey, Coach T, my brother's coming out of Michigan State. Get him, and if I keep playing well, you will keep him, right? And he got that figured out. I'm I'm excited. Deshaun Elliott, I think, is one of the most underrated safeties in the NFL. He's had a solid career, or solid, yeah, he's been solid, which for the safety position is, I think, good enough. Just because I don't think there's the top safeties, and then I think there's like a big drop off, and it's really just about everyone else. And I think Deshaun Elliott's on the higher level than everyone else. So that's solid. I think offensive line's gonna be better. Frazier was a steal last year in the draft. I think having I don't even gonna try pronouncing the name, but the guy last year, first round pick last year, is gonna be good if he stays healthy. Roderick Jones is the offensive lineman, George Pickens, kind of, and I don't trust him consistently in that sense too. But man, he's got the tools to be great. Um, Jalen Warren, I am a little worried about as a full time back, though I do like Caleb Johnson a lot. I liked him out of Iowa. Love the DK Metcalf move because the Steelers have not had a actual pure number one receiver since Antonio Brown. They just haven't. And I say that with no disrespect to the other guys. I also think so. This also has been strengthened, my opinion, on Roman Wilson after what I saw from what John Gruden said. The guy was good at Michigan. I don't think he was in an offense that necessarily used his skill set just because they were such a run heavy team and their guy's gonna be a star. The Steelers draft receivers, and as long as they're not first round pick, they're stars. They just since the 70s, I can't explain it. I just can't. They're just that much better than everyone else at finding receivers outside the first round. I think Chris Boswell's the best kicker in the NFL. I think that for the most part, he's had a very underrated career, kicking in one of the most difficult stadiums to kick in Heinz Field. And no, I'm not calling it that stupid name. Um, I really do not see many holes on this Steelers team. Again, I'm unbiased and am totally neutral with this opinion. And I'm higher than on the Steelers than most people, but I think that if you outside the offensive line, I don't see many weaknesses. Especially, I forgot to mention this too. John Smith trade. Fryermuth is already one of the best tight ends, I think, in the NFL. I think he is a just solid all around tight end, like a true, more true of a tight end than a lot of the guys who are just receivers. And Johnny Smith's a weapon. They're gonna be, I think, in a lot of 12 personnel. And when you have two tight ends that are elite, as well as having two guys that I think will be elite wide receivers this year, DK Metcalf and Roman Wilson. Plus, they're gonna run, I'm pretty sure, whole damn lot 13 personnel and take a lot of play action to Darnell Washington. Heard it here first. Unless someone else said it, then however many people before me. And now we get to the fun part. Let controversy begin. I have no doubt in my mind that the Baltimore Ravens are yet again going to lose in the playoffs. And they're going to be the 1 or 2 seed like they are damn near every year. Lamar Jackson is one of the greatest regular season quarterbacks of all time. Unbelievable in the regular season. He hasn't put it together consistently in the playoffs. His I was looking at Pro Football Reference. His bad throw percentage is about 10% higher in the playoffs compared to the regular season. His on target throw percentage is 10% lower, about. His interception rate up, touchdown rate down. And on top of that, it seems like every year once they get in the playoffs, they're changing their entire game plan. It just looks like they're, instead of being run heavy, running it a lot with Lamar, with Derrick Henry, whoever they have back there. They are a team that dominates on the ground with a very good offensive line every year, and every year in the playoffs, it looks almost as like they're trying to make a point that they can win big games as a pass first team, and it they they look like they abandoned their identity in the playoffs for the most part. Like Lamar Jackson he'll have the occasional good game in the playoffs, but he's not going to put 2 to 3, at least 3, win the Super Bowl. He's got to win at least 3 playoff games. I don't think he's had maybe 2 or 3 great playoff starts in his career. Obviously, last year Mark Andrews dropped that ball. Really, the by far the best playoff game he's played. They've had loaded rosters every year, and they have fallen short every time. Where I've predicted it every time, because also I obviously see Lamar Jackson more when he plays the Steelers. He struggles against the Steelers. Don't know why. It seems just as if they're like, okay, we can win using this style, but there's people doubting Lamar Jackson, so we're gonna prove that Lamar Jackson can win through the air and like abandon who we are as a team. It's almost to me as for when the last couple of years Ohio State's played Michigan. They abandoned their identity to try to play a style that does not fit them. And they end up losing, and they're like, wait, why are we losing these games? We're more talented than the other team. They need to be themselves. If the Baltimore Ravens play like they do in the regular season, have that same game plan, have that same identity, then I have no doubt that they are the best team in the AFC. But they keep proving to me that they don't. So I think they're going to win the AFC North probably. They're going. They're, I'd say, 100% chance to make the playoffs. There's no chance they don't make the playoffs. And unbiased opinion, I'm not trying to jinx it. I'm. They're easily the most talented roster in the AFC and top three overall roster in the NFL. Like Zay Flowers, Andrews, likely Derrick Henry. Lamar should have won MVP last year. I'll say that. Even though I was celebrating, the best part of my season as a Steelers fan last year was Josh Allen beating Lamar Jackson for the MVP, just so I didn't have to see Lamar Jackson win MVP again. Defense, Roquan Smith, Kyle Hamilton, they are absolutely loaded, and I understand that it's Super Bowl or bust for them. And unless they stick to who they are, not some fraud ass team in the playoffs, they're Super Bowl bound. Just being honest. Also being honest, the Cleveland Browns. Congratulations to the Cleveland Browns on being an NFL football team and having a 90-year-old Joe Flacco be your starting quarterback. Even though he, I'd say he's the best quarterback on the roster. Um, Again, I have not had many thoughts about the Browns just because they're the Browns. I mean, I understand why they drafted Shador Sanders. I personally had was right by when I had Shador Sanders as a fifth or sixth round pick, just because I did not like seem to throw his teammates under the bus sometimes at Colorado, as well as never really having that competition. I didn't think he faced really a lot of adversity, as well as he a lot of times would deflect blame a bit more, and I want my quarterback to say, yes, I need to do better. I need to win. It's on me. If you're a quarterback and you lose a game, you gotta hold yourself accountable because you're the leader of the team. If you don't hold yourself accountable, no one else is gonna hold themselves accountable. And so I was right about that. Do and I also think that if he had the overall talent, if he had the arm, if he didn't hold on to the ball too long, if he didn't try to extend plays that he wasn't able to make and tries to force things under pressure, then yes, he would have been a first round pick. But he just didn't. I mean, I'm one of the few people I guess who wasn't surprised that Shador Sanders fell in the draft. But him actually going after Dylan Gabriel, absolutely insane. I'm also a guy who had Kyle McCord as the second best quarterback in the draft this year. So take what I say with a grain of salt. Oh yeah, Miles Garrett is really good. at football, as is David Njoku. Browns are bad. That's it. I'm not complaining though. That's 2 wins a year. Okay, Bengals. Joe Burrow is the outside of obviously his receivers is like he's a guy who's like, hey, where the hell is everyone else? Like, what do I have to do? What can I do to even do better than I can improve? Because there's nothing. His defense has been consistently outside of the Super Bowl loss year bad. His offensive line has got him hit more than more than a crash dummy. I like Gasicki. Obviously, like the receivers. Who wouldn't like the receivers? Zach Taylor's a weird coach to me just because I don't know if he's good or bad. He's been there for what, 7 years now, 6, 7 years. Just because when his record is Joe Burrow. Um, what else? Trey Hendrickson's good. He's the only person who gets off the bus on Sundays for the Bengals defense. So, round of applause for Trey Hendrickson.